All right. So the next piece to this first episode is the nutrition structure. So this is where, in general, I think my nutritional approach, which I would define as a low carbohydrate diet approach that ranges in how low it goes depending on where I am in the training cycle. This phase of the training, my nutrition is going to be closest that it will be to like what people would maybe consider like a strict ketogenic diet, where carbohydrate inputs are so low that you basically aren't eating many at all. If most people going about this way of eating are going to look at what they ate at the end of the day and be like, I didn't eat any carbohydrates. In reality, there are some there. They're just not very recognizable the way they would be in like a more moderate to high carbohydrate diet where they make up the majority of, or the foundation of the training approach. So the way this likely looks is, like I said, the lowest carb input for me of the year. And part of this is also just energy output. This phase of the year, I'm usually at my lowest energy output, meaning I'm just doing less physical activity. So my actual energy demand during this phase of the training year is at its lowest. So I don't necessarily need as much food to maintain weight. Now, I'm also thinking in the off season, I'm not afraid to gain some weight in the off season. In fact, a lot of times I actually value gaining a few pounds during the off season. And the reason being is when I start the base building phase, it's of no consequence if I'm a few pounds overweight. It may actually be better for me because I sort of have a little bit of a built-in buffer then, that if I do make a few mistakes or have a few workouts or a few days where I have a caloric deficit just because I did a lot of work and I just didn't eat as much as I needed to replace all of that, I sort of have that buffer built in as I'm ramping back up into things. And I don't have to necessarily worry so much about being as diligent about hitting those targets early on in that. So when I get to the part of the training where like I'm in a speed work development phase or the longer development phase, at that point usually I'm kind of more back to kind of where I would fit kind of a framework of what I would consider like my race weight, in which case then I'm going to be like hyper vigilant about making sure that I'm hitting targets to maintain weight versus lose weight and end up kind of losing out on not fueling myself for what I'm trying to get to. But again, I think off season, given that my output is lower, it's a little more relaxed time of year in terms of gaining weight. I don't necessarily mind if I gain a little bit of extra weight during the off season. In fact, I think that's probably a value add in most cases.